Hello, 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 and welcome everybody. Welcome. My name is JeffLightsyJr. This is the Victory Formation Sports Show, and we've got some special guests because we're here talking about a special event. We got Mr. Darryl Roberts and Mr. Kenny Anderson, the head basketball coach of Fisk University. They're here to promote an HBCU All-Star event that will be taking place in August at the legendary Rucker Park in New York. Gentlemen, how are you all? And thank you all for joining me.
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
I'm absolutely awesome. It was great to see Kenny. Great to see you, Jeff. Let's get it going.
Yes, sir. And so, Mr. Darryl, I gotta ask you, HBCU All-Star event at Rucker Park. Just what was the thought process of creating something like this and having it at a legendary place like Rucker Park?
Okay, so first of all, thanks for having us on today. This is definitely an opportunity for us to talk about something that's near and dear to both Kenny and I. I'm a lifelong New York resident. Grew up in the shadows of Rucker Park, but I'm also a third generation HBCU alum. So, I grew up under HBCU traditions, and my nonprofit produces HBCU events. But we saw that during the summer, it was like a dead period. You had no homecomings, no graduations, no football games. So we saw it as an opportunity to do something to continue the narrative about HBCUs and to not only focus on the schools, but to do some things that involve all the conferences, the CIAA, the MEAC, the SWAC, the SIAC, the NAIA. So we received an opportunity to do something at Rucker Park this summer, the legendary Rucker Park. So we decided that this would be the ideal time to put something like this out, engage with the alumni, engage with prospective, college students, and also the community of Harlem.
Absolutely, and it is something that is definitely making waves as you have someone who played in the NBA and now coaches at an HBCU like Mr. Kenny Anderson. Man, now Kenny, how did you kind of get involved with the event? How did you hear about it? How did you get involved in? And what are your thoughts over this event that will be taking place?
My thoughts is great. Kevin Bracey, who's good friends with Darryl, connected me, and he said they was having a game there with the HBCU. And I was like, wow, I'm not involved. What's going on? So they reached out and I came on board. I'm so excited. It's the first year, and it's in Rucker Park. It's amazing because I grew up playing in Rucker Park. So it all comes back. And now I'm doing something for these young men. I'm coaching at Fisk. I've been there for 3 years, without the COVID. But just trying to build my program, and then now coaching at the HBCU at Rucker Classic it's a great opportunity, not only for me but for these young men that's participating.
Absolutely. Now, as both of you all, from New York, y'all know what New York basketball is like. Darryl, I want to start with you. Just what is this gonna be like for New York? For Rucker Park? Obviously, it's going to make an impact for HBCUs, but what do you think this will do for the city of New York having an event like this?
Well, HBCUs, there's much talked about right now about HBCUs. I mean, a lot of the things that happened last week regarding, the Supreme Court decisions, coming down, so everybody is saying, how is this going to affect HBCUs? And HBCUs, we have the Vice President of the United States, HBCU alum, and many other notables who come from that particular culture. So to bring something like this to New York City and have it in Rucker Park is going to be epic. Because when people think of Rucker Park, they think of the culture of Black basketball. When you go back, I mean, even before Kenny's days, you had Pee Wee Kirkland, you had Joe Hammond, you had Dr. J, and, Kobe made an appearance. Allen Iverson made an appearance. So, you've had like legendary street ball and professional athletes, but you've never had an all-star game comprised of HBCU alums. And we're not talking about HBCU alums that, were getting off the scrap heap. These are 21, 22-year-olds who understand that they have not been in the limelight throughout their college careers. And here's an opportunity for them to literally step on the big stage under the bright lights of Rucker Park in Harlem. And these players are, I'm telling you, most of them have never even been to New York, let alone Harlem. So they are totally psyched about this opportunity, and the fans just can't wait.
Now, Kenny, I want to ask you, just as someone, you'll be coaching a team, HBCU team. Just when you're coaching in an event like this, now obviously it hasn't happened, but are you looking to win? Are you looking to have fun? Like, what are the kind of the thought process being a coach in this type of event?
A little of both. I would like to win, but I want these guys to have fun. And just know that you never know who's watching. So you just got to compete on a high level and play basketball the right way. That's what I'm looking forward to. And being my old stomping grounds in New York, it's going to be exciting. And it's definitely, now that I'm coaching, it's exciting for me to be a part of this.
Absolutely. Once again, we're talking to Darryl Roberts and Kenny Anderson. They are a part of what is taking place, the HBCU Harlem Takeover, HBCU Allstar Dream Classic, taking place in Rucker Park. Now, Darryl, I want to ask you, you guys got a bunch of events besides the actual basketball. You've got your women's game at 4:30, your men's game at 7 o'clock on August 5th, but you also got some step shows and cheerleaders and the bands. Just kind of paint the picture of all the festivities that will actually be taking place on August 5th in Harlem at Rucker Park.
Okay, well, before I say that, I got to let you know that we're thinking about miking Kenny Anderson up so we can hear his teeth grind if his team is down, because Kenny's the winner.
Why you
he was
say
a winner
down?
in high school. He was a winner at Georgia Tech. He was a winner in the NBA. So, I mean, I don't want to hear Kenny talking about, a little bit of this, a little bit. Kenny wants to win. I'm telling you. So, Jeff, to address your point, in addition to the basketball games, we're going to be bringing the full HBCU experience. We're going to have D9 organizations like Greek fraternities and sororities. They're going to be doing their stroll step routines. We're also going to have, HBCU inspired cheerleaders and an HBCU band. Of course, this year is the 50th anniversary year of hip hop. So, we're going to have hip hop luminaries in the crowd. We're going to have the legendary announcers. We're going to have Joe Pope, who does Pro City here in New York. And we have DJ Boogs. And, who knows who might walk in. I know we've we've kind of partnered the coaches up with hip hop luminaries. Kenny, you may be able to speak. I can't remember the guy from Black Sheep, I believe, who's going to be teamed up with you, but they're going to be primarily hyping the crowd and adding that hip hop musical flavor to the game. Yeah,
Black Sheep, right? That's what you said. The artist, I forget his rap name, but it's the 50th anniversary of all the rappers. So in New York, you never know who might come through. So I'm excited about that and everything. It's going to be an awesome event that Darryl put together. I can't wait. I'm excited about it.
Absolutely. Now, Kenny, I want to ask you this, just when it comes to HBCU basketball, just, as someone who has played at the highest level of basketball in the NBA, just what are some of the things that you would like to continue to see, whether it's from fan support, administration, alumni, to see this HBCU specifically? We can even be more specific about Fisk University continue to grow nationwide.
I just need everybody to chip in and help out. That's from administration, coaches, every student body, just everybody, and not fade away from it. Just get involved. Just get involved to help these young men, women, to help build our program. That's what we're doing at Fisk. We're trying to build the sports program up because academically, we're one of the best schools in the country. But the sports, we're trying to build that up, and I'm glad to be there. I'm glad to be one of the parts that could just help build it up. And it's going to take some time, but as you see, each year we're doing work and we're doing more things at Fisk University. They're building more dormitories, office buildings, and things of that nature. They're doing just fine, but it's a slow process. It's a slow process. It just takes time. But I'm so grateful to be a part of it.
Absolutely. Now, Darryl, I want to ask you this. Just with someone who's in this space, you continue to see more and more, I feel like more and more HBCU centered events, especially in the world of athletics, continue to pop up. You have the Dream Class, HBCU Allstar Dream Classic. You have the HBCU All-Star Game that's hovered around NBA All-Star or the Final Four. You also have, the NBA partnering with different HBCUs and organizations. Just, as a HBCU alum, just how do you or what do you want to see from all these different events, and to see, like, how do you expect it to continue to grow and get more and more people involved, and for people to care about historically Black colleges across this country?
Yeah, Jeff, that's a great question, because, my co-producer on this event, young lady down in Delaware by the name of Rachel Naughton. Rachel and I, when we connected on this event, it was like we both came up with this idea around the same time. And it's a lot bigger than basketball. I think one of the things that HBCUs suffer from is they suffer from a lack of brand recognition. So by us doing events like this, we kind of elevate the conversations about HBCUs, because, there are a lot of people out there. You'll stop them on the street and you'll say, name an HBCU. And, they may say Howard, they may say Morehouse, they may say Hampton or Spelman, but they can't go any further than that. Now, we have 102 schools that fall under the umbrella of HBCUs. And these are schools that were founded because, and here we go from a social justice standpoint, these schools were founded because people that look like us weren't allowed to enter into the world of higher education. So the more events that we do of this nature, whether or not it's a cheerleading competition, whether or not it's a symposium, a college fair, a sporting event, we increase the conversation revolving around HBCUs, with the possibility that enrollment will go up. And one of the other key factors is, as the conversations increase, corporations, investors, people that have trust funds, philanthropic responsibilities, they'll start to invest more in HBCUs, and you won't see HBCUs with problems with dormitories, as Kenny had just mentioned, or different classrooms that they need to have renovated. So these are some of the things outside of basketball that Rachel and I have been working very diligently to try to establish.
Absolutely. Now, both of you all are from New York. I'm sure you've got plenty of memories from being in New York. But Kenny, I want to start with you about what is, you kind of told me a little bit off camera, but what is one of, if not a couple of your favorite memories about Rucker Park specifically? We're talking about this event taking place in Harlem at Rucker Park. So give us something about that you remember from your past playing up there at the Rucker.
Like Darryl said, that's the park in New York. So I live in Queens. So I came there when it was each one teach one. I was like 11, 12 years old, playing with 17, 18-year-olds. They brought me, and we went on there on the train. It was a very great experience for me. And I got in the game, like I played for like 4 or 5 minutes, but I was so excited, to be playing with those guys. And that's one reason I started playing well, because I played always on a upper age. Like when I was 12, 14, I played with the 17-year-old, 18. I played bigger competition. And it was just a great, just going to each one teach one. That was the name of the tournament back then. It was held at Rucker Park. And it's just so many memories, man, pop up in my head.
Absolutely. Darryl, I want to ask you the same thing. Is there any specific memory that you may have from Rucker Park, whether it's attending an event, maybe getting out there playing? Is there anything like that for you?
Well, there's two things that, first of all, Kenny mentioned each one teach one. And each one teach one is actually a co-sponsor of this event, a gentleman by the name of Bob McCullough. And Bob is a all-time leading scorer and rebounder for Benedict College. He was number 2 draft pick of the Cincinnati Royals. in the NBA back in the day. So each one teach one is still there doing the things that Kenny just alluded to.
Yeah.
But one of my fondest memories, I was one of the kids that would climb the fence. And I was on the top of the fence watching games. And I can remember seeing Pee Wee, and Pee Wee Kirkland is also a HBCU alum out of Norfolk State. Joe Hammond, Tiny Archibald. I mean, I remember seeing, the big Cadillacs drive up, drop some of the players off. I mean, it just had that type of glow, that type of mystique where, on a Saturday afternoon, I mean, if you weren't at Rucker Park, where were you? And, just ironic that we're going to be doing this game on a Saturday afternoon in the middle of the summer, just like it was back in the day.
Yeah.
That is awesome to hear. Well, gentlemen, I don't want to keep you for too much longer. I do have just a few more questions. Darryl, I know we're continuing to talk about, you spoke about some of your sponsors. Just when putting together an event like this, a lot of people always say, well, the reason why more of these don't happen is because, is there any money in it, right? Like, can you get someone to help you put something like this together? Was it difficult to find sponsors for an event like this, even though to me it's a no-brainer, right? But with it, being historically Black colleges and being, at Rucker Park, was it difficult, or how was the cooperation of people that wanted to be a part of this event?
Well, when we established our business model, it was based on a triangle, and it was a triangle that made sense. It was all about the HBCUs at the top of the triangle, and then you have community and you have corporate brands. So it became a very simple operation to put together once you establish those three categories. Because when you think of the importance of HBCUs when it comes to higher education, and then you have the community, and the community is going to be, alumni, prospective students, high school students, parents who want to get their children involved in things that shine a light on higher education. And then, you have those two, and you go to corporations that are community minded. So if you find corporations that are community minded, they want to uplift, they want to empower, they want to instill the values of higher education, it becomes a simple model that you can duplicate in other cities.
That is awesome. And that is very, very true. I never thought about it like that. Once again, we're talking to Darryl Roberts and Kenny Anderson of the HBCU Allstar Dream Classic that is taking place August 5th in Harlem at the legendary Rucker Park. Now, Kenny, I want to ask you this, just for a young prospective high school recruit, right? Like a guy that's looking to choose a college. Why should a young man choose an HBCU? More specifically, why should they come and choose to play for Fisk University?
Because I played in the NBA for 14 years. No. I was just joking. But, hey, I have all from high school, college, pro. I experienced it all, and I can help that young man. Culture, everything, provide for him to maybe get him a job overseas, maybe in the league. It's 1%. I'm trying to. You never know, but I'm able to do that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is awesome to hear, Darryl. I'll get you out on this just for anybody that may be interested. It's one last kind of, does it cost to go to this event? And just what are just your final thoughts on the event that's taking place on August 5th at Rucker Park?
So there's no cost other than you spending the time that's going to benefit you long term. You can get tickets on Eventbrite, HBCU Allstar Classic. Look it up. There are limited tickets because the tickets are almost sold out at this point. So, and the experience that you're going to get attending this event, and the way we've designed it is we want to give more than just basketball. We have some legendary performers that are going to be there. We have Kenny, he's going to be there. We have, the coach, former point guard for Cardinal Hayes, he's going to be there. Alfred Jordan. And, then we're going to have political people from the community that are going to come in, and they're going to have a few words to say regarding the event and the importance of these type of events taking place in New York throughout the summer. So it'll be a well-rounded experience. It's not going to just be sports. You know, there'll be some community-minded things that are going to take place, but I can tell you this, it's going to be fun for everybody in attendance.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is the HBCU Allstar Dream Classic taking place at the legendary Rucker Park in Harlem. Mr. Kenny Anderson, thank you so much. Mr. Darryl Roberts, thank you for so much for joining me. I can't wait to the event. I know it's going to be a massive success. Thank you all for taking the time out your day, though, and I cannot wait to see what comes of it.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right.
Hey, it's no problem at all. And thank you all for tuning in.